who's in town, Mr. Diddy Wad Diddy, Mr. Diddy Wad Diddy. I wish somebody would tell me what Diddy Wad Diddy mean. Some little girl about 4 feet 4 say, come on, Papa, and give me some more your Diddy Wad Diddy, your Diddy Wad Diddy.
Hello, vinyl community. It's Glenn, your low-end music freak, back with part 6 in my series, The Greatest 100 Albums of All Time. The definitive list, this is. Remember that. Rolling Stone has been sending me cease and desist orders, but I'm ignoring them. It's my right to come up with a definitive list. This is getting down to the top 50, which I consider all iconic albums. All of them. All of them could be in anybody's top 10, and I wouldn't argue at all. So let's get started. First, the introductory music. My favorite guitar player on earth, Ry Cooder. This is, if I was picking a top 10 of my favorite albums of all time, or top 100, this would be in the top 10. Paradise and Lunch. Incredible album. It's Ry Cooder's 4th solo album. He released this in 1974. Incredible mix of blues and jazz and Tex-Mex and folk. Just such an eclectic artist and such a great guitar player. That song you were listening to is the last song on the album. It's called Diddy Wad Diddy. Ry Cooder with special guest sitting in on the piano, Earl Father Hines. It's just a great song. They just jam along just perfectly there with the piano and the guitar. Love that song. It's my favorite song on the album. Love Ry Cooder. Number 50, Paradise and Lunch. This is the MoFi Original Master Recording, SACD, limited edition. Sounds incredible. I believe there's also the partner to this on vinyl. Great album. Strongly suggest anybody getting into this album. Fantastic. Number 50, Ry Cooder, Paradise and Lunch. That's Ry Cooder, Paradise and Lunch, number 50. Okay, number 49. Wonderful Canadian artist. Only time she made my list of the top 100, but could have made it a few times. The incredible Joni Mitchell, Hejira. This is, oh man, I don't know. I've got 2 or 3 Joni Mitchell albums that just probably switch around as being my favorite. For the Roses is kind of my favorite. This is right up there with it. I'd say these two, or For the Roses and this, are both great albums. This is Joni's 8th studio album, released in 1976. One of the great musicians on this album, when she first met him, she started playing with him on her records, Jaco Pastorius, the great bass player. Jaco plays fretless bass all over this album. Incredible contribution he made to it. This has my favorite Joni Mitchell song on it, Amelia. Check that song out if you're not familiar with it. It's beautiful. Anyway, Joni Mitchell, Hejira, coming in at number 49. Just ahead, of Paradise and Lunch, Ry Cooder, number 50. That's Ry Cooder, Paradise and Lunch. Not that I'm trying to push that album on anyone. Okay, next. Artist has already shown up once. I say he's the third best songwriter out of the U.S. behind Paul Simon and Bob Dylan, Jackson Browne. This is Jackson's third album, Late for the Sky. Beautiful, beautiful record. Great songs, incredible lyrics. David Lindley's guitar playing on this and his fiddle playing is just incredible. What a beautiful, beautiful album. Before the Deluge is on this. Farther On, Late for the Sky, Fountain of Sorrow, The Late Show. That whole first side of this album, I think, is one of the great sides of music ever. Just beautiful, beautiful. Late for the Sky, Fountain of Sorrow, Further On, and The Late Show. Gorgeous album, gorgeous cover, great sounding record. Jackson Browne, Late for the Sky. That's number 48. Number 47. Band should be showing up a few times. Led Zeppelin 4, or commonly known as Zofo or Zoso or whatever it's called with the cymbals. A lot of people get sick of this album, I guess, because Stairway to Heaven gets played so much, but it is such an incredible album, and Stairway to Heaven is one of the greatest songs ever. I know it's overplayed on the radio, but just a masterpiece of a song. This is a great album. I mean, rock and roll, Black Dog, Battle of Evermore with Robert Plant and Sandy Denny. Oh my God, that's vocal performance. That song's incredible. Going to California. John Bonham, Four Sticks. Was I the only person in the world who didn't know that song was called Four Sticks? Because John Bonham plays the drums on that song with 2 sticks in each hand, 4 sticks. I was late to the party on that one. Great, great album, classic album, Led Zeppelin 4. Okay, next, at number 46, the incredible Van Morrison, and probably I rank this as his second best album, Moondance. What an incredible, incredible album. This is released in 1970, After Astro Weeks. Jazzy, poppy, folky, fun, great lyrics, Into the Mystic. Just a great, great album. Moondance, great jazz tune, and it Stone Me, Crazy Love, Caravan. Oh my God, this album is, there was a thread going around, perfect albums. This should be on it. Perfect album, every note. Moondance, number 46. Number 45, my favorite album by this artist. Probably not everyone's favorite, but On the Beach, Neil Young. 1974 this came out. It's his 5th studio album, solo album, can't count Buffalo Springfield or whatever else. This is I don't want to call it a depressing album, but really moody, I guess, kind of an album, especially like Ambulance, Revolution Blues, and For the Turnstiles, Vampire Blues, On the Beach, Ambulance Blues. A lot of Toronto references. He mentions Isabella, Oh Proud Isabella, that's a street in downtown Toronto. He mentions The Riverboat Was Rockin' in the Rain, which is the great coffee house in Yorkville in Toronto in the mid-60s. So if you're from Toronto, you definitely recognize the references. My favorite Neil Young song is on this album, For the Turnstiles. I just frickin' love that song. Anyway, Neil Young. This is a great album. Neil Young. Number 45, that is. Number 44, Moody Blues. This is their 3rd album, released in 1968, In Search of the Lost Chord. This album has, as a hit, Ride My Seesaw was on this album. This is a real psychedelic, kind of a dreamy album that kind of takes you on a bit of a tour. I don't know, it feels like you're on some kind of a travel log or something with this album, but musicianship is great, the songs are great. This was the 50th anniversary release of this package that came out a couple of years ago. Great set. Ride My Seesaw. Gives you the music sheet. Great book. Telling you all about the times in the album and a lot of pictures. My favorite Moody Blues album, one of my favorite albums of all time. 5-disc set. The discs look like that. It's got the album remastered, remixed, and stereo and mono, and lots of extras, and just a beautiful, beautiful album. Great album cover. I love this frickin' album. Moody Blues, In Search of the Lost Chord, number 44. Number 43, The Amazing Rolling Stones. Let It Bleed. Let It Bleed was released in 1969. This was the last we ever heard of Brian Jones. Unfortunately, he was fired when this album was being made, and also passed away when this album was being made. He is on the album, but I understand just playing a couple of instruments in the background. There's no real, I don't think you could pick him out on this album at all. Enter Mick Taylor, the great guitar player, who was then a part of this, Sticky Fingers and Exile, and this album, the Stones' classic period as far as I'm concerned. Let It Bleed, great album, number 43. Number 42, the Beatles. They're going to show up here every once in a while. Help, number 42 on the list. All the Beatles albums are great. This could be number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, I don't care. This is the mono version of it with the fold down jacket. Now, this is, in the UK, this really wasn't considered a soundtrack album, although the songs from the movie are on this album. It was just an album with 14 songs on it. When it was released in North America, it was released as a soundtrack album. We had the songs from the movie plus a whole whack of George Martin produced orchestra music. So it was more of a soundtrack album. So anyway, the Help UK album, number 42. Number 41. Another great album. I'm not sure how much love it gets on the VC. Spirit, 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. Great psychedelic album, released in 1970. This album is almost kind of like a concept album, except there's no concept. The songs all flow together, and just a beautiful, beautiful record. The guitar playing, the harmonies in this album are incredible. The instrumentation, they float back and forth from kind of folky to psychedelic to hard rockin' to almost like an R&B thing with some brass, some saxophones and horns and stuff. It's just an amazing, amazing record that grows and grows and grows on you. I've been listening to this album for 50 years, and every time I listen to it, it sounds fresh. So that is number 41, 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus. That's it for today. That takes us up to the top 40. So thank you if you're following this series. I really appreciate it very much. I'm doing my best. And a couple days from now, we'll get the next 10 in. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.